Grade 1 racing continues from Gulfstream Park. This time we have the Pegaus World Cup Turf Championship. Full field entered as the time of the recording here on Friday morning. Let's take a look at the entrants, starting with number 1, Zulu Alpha. He's 12-1 in the morning line, and this veteran campaigner has picked up some big victories. Probably his most impressive victory and biggest win career to date was at Kentucky Downs in 2018. At Gulfstream Park, he does sport a win record of 2 for 3. He seems to be coming in good form, and I do like the fact that he can save some ground in this race, and he does seem to have a stretch kick if it comes down to who can grind it out late and pick up the pieces if the pace gets a little bit fast. Meanwhile, Arklow, this veteran campaigner, is 6 for 24 lifetime, some big wins. He's a grade 1 winner, and that was at Belmont when he picked up the Turf Classic Invitational in 2019. He's another one who can run close to the pace. He tends to trail the pack early and then makes his move around that 6 furlong mark. Definitely a contender with Luis Saez in the saddle for Arklow. Chad Brown sends out Without Parole in this spot. Morning line is 4-1. He only had 3 races in 2019, and I think he's one who's going to benefit from having a little bit of time off after that campaign. Obviously, he had a little bit of issues and missed most of 2019. He has some back class. He's a grade 1 type runner, and he has $800,000 won in career innings. We have 5 horses in this race who have earned more than $1 million, including the race favorite with over $4 million in Magic Wand. Without Parole, probably his best race was in the Juddmonte International. Faced some really good horses in there. Also went up against Roaring Lion a couple of times, and he's another one with some proven class, especially over in Europe. But he does go without Lasix. He's a son of Frankel, and I think Without Parole, definitely a contender at 4-1. Saddler's Joy, 8-1 in the morning line. Javier Castellano is the rider. Kitten's Joy is the sire, and he's 7 for 26 lifetime. Another grade 1 multiple stakes winner. Also some grade 2 stakes wins. Competed in all the big dances. Actually ended up running out the year in a grade 3, winning easily at Aqueduct, and that was at 6-5. Kind of got him in shape for this race. He missed a couple of other key races he was pointing for in 2019. I expect we'll see a similar type campaign with 5 or 6 efforts in 2020. Saddler's Joy, you know, not a big win machine, but he is 2 for 4 at Gulfstream Park. Channel Cat's best win was in the Bowling Green Handicap. 8 starts in 2019, just 1 win, and he's 2 for 6 at Gulfstream Park. He's another one with a horse for course, and we've got 4 or 5 of those type of horses in this race. Channel Cat does his best running near the lead, and I think if the pace slows down, Channel Cat has a shot, especially if he can fire late and hold that form. The English channels do like the soft going, and so I think that could come into play if they get a little bit of rain on Saturday. Instilled Regard had a light 4-year-old campaign. He's now 5-year-old, this one-time Triple Crown hopeful. He used to be trained by Jerry Hollendorfer. Now he's trained by Chad Brown. 10-1 on the morning line. A victory in his most recent race. That was a grade 2 in the Fort Lauderdale. Lightly raced compared to some of the others. Just 14 lifetime starts as a 5-year-old. Again, he used to be strong at 1 mile to 1 mile and 1/8. And this guy did run in the Kentucky Derby a couple of years ago. So he does got some of that grade 1 class. Kind of just hard to see where he fits in the mix. That big turf win the last time out could indicate a big campaign coming up for 2020. And at 10-1 and Irad Ortiz, I think it's somebody you want to consider. Instilled Regard will be one of those horses that can come from the middle of the pack, and he may get the jump on some of the deeper closers. Admission Office is a 30-1 shot. This turf campaigner is 0 for 1 at Gulfstream, but he does have a 2nd place finish. Noted turf rider from out west, Flavian Prat, comes in to ride Admission Office. His best distance is right around 1 mile and 1/8, so I think the distance is good. He's still got some room improvement for him. Just 10 lifetime races, 3 wins and 4 seconds for Admission Office, but he is a long shot in this spot. Henley's Joy is a proven grade 1, grade 2 type performer. 4 for 16 lifetime. Big efforts last year in a couple of races, especially the Belmont Derby, winning that grade 1. That was only against 3-year-olds. Now he's got to face older horses. He's 30-1 and he's a deep closer. If the pace gets hot, Henley's Joy can run late. And I think Henley's Joy is the type of horse you can use in your trifecta and superfecta. He could be a key on a lot of tickets for me underneath on that back end of the try and superfecta. Next Shares has won a couple of races as a long shot. He won the Seabiscuit at 27-1. Earlier in his career, he picked up another victory as a long shot at 24-1 in the Shadwell Turf Mile. 7 for 29. He's raced in all the big dances. Another one with Grade 1 proven form. He's done his best running out on the West Coast, but he has had some big races in Kentucky. He's got 2 races at Gulfstream Park, and he's got 1 win in the 2 lifetime starts. Next Shares is 30-1, and another contender that could possibly fill out those tries and superfectas. Mo Forza is a contender, 5-1 on the morning line, 4 straight wins, looking to make it 5 in a row. Now, his form is a little bit tricky. He's won 4 in a row, he's won a Grade 1, and he's won a Grade 2. He's faced full fields out west. Now he's got to run at Gulfstream Park for the first time. He's got to ship for the first time. And he's got to go a distance against top-class horses, going just a little bit further than he has been running in the past. I do like his 1 1/8 victory in the Hollywood Derby. And Joel Rosario rides Mo Forza, who has that Uncle Mo pedigree. Mo Forza, definitely a contender, although I lean towards having him in the under. I'm not sure he can win a very competitive Grade 1 race like this. Sacred Life is 12-1 morning line, the 3rd of the Chad Brown trainees, and Sacred Life, 2nd in his last time out to Next Shares. Did have a win in an allowance race before that at Keeneland. He's lightly raced, just 13 lifetime starts with 5 wins. And Sacred Life with Jose Ortiz, I like his running style. Sacred Life is definitely one of my top 2 selections for the Pegasus World Cup Turf. And the race favorite is on the outside, the 12th post position. Magic Wand, Ryan Moore, one of the world's leading jocks, rides him. 7-2, and Galileo is the sire. Aidan O'Brien trains, and Magic Wand goes back without Lasix. He did run 2nd in Hong Kong in his last race. He's a world traveler, has raced in Australia, raced in the Arlington Million last year, and he's 3 wins with 8 seconds lifetime, but he does have a bankroll of over $4 million. Magic Wand will probably be overbet a little bit here. And on the outside, we have Tusk. Tusk at 30-1 on the morning line. That one probably one of my toss-outs. He's 1 for 1 in 2020 and 1 for 5 at Gulfstream Park. I think the key to this race in the Pegasus World Cup Turf will be the pace. I think we are going to have a soft pace, possibility of having maybe a soft turf course, and I think a couple of horses that can take advantage of that are Sacred Life. My own personal betting line has nobody less than 7-2 in this race, so if Magic Wand is below 4-1, I think that's an underlay. I have Arklow right around 6-1 morning line, and I also think a couple of other contenders could be Henley's Joy and possibly Next Shares, both at 30-1 on the morning line. Who do you like in the Pegasus World Cup Turf? Don't forget, hit subscribe and like as we hit you all the way up on Grade 1 turf racing and dirt racing in 2020. We've got race previews for the Smarty Jones. Also have a Pegasus World Cup preview. That was handicapped before the scratches of Omaha Beach and Spun to Run. Who do you like? Leave a note below and hit subscribe as we race you up through Grade 1 racing in 2020.